Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to make these amazing pom-pom brooches or boutonnieres. So they're basically pom-pom with a pin attached to them. So I'm going to show you two styles, one with the basic pom-pom. These two are trimmed down differently, but they're the same. And then one that's a boutonniere, and that's actually two pom-poms together, and it looks more like a flower. What you need are any of your loom tool, brooch pin. This is 1 inch or about 2.5 centimeters. Needle, and a thin one would be good. Tie for your pom-pom. Yarn, of course. Scissors, and not shown here is a dish or a tray. It's always handy to trim your pom-pom with those, with the dish. Okay, so let's get started. So what I'm first gonna do is I'm gonna make this kind of pom-pom. It'll be a little bit loose trim. So I'm gonna take my loom tool. I'm gonna cut. I'm gonna do a little different technique than I used to. I'm gonna cut about 18 inch, so from the tip of your finger to the middle of your bicep of the tie, and you're gonna get your yarn. And what we're gonna do, so I'm gonna do kind of like a random, you know, pom-pom like this, because I think it looks really, really good. So I have all this yarn scrap, so what I'll do, I'm gonna use the narrower end here, and I'm just gonna start winding. Just gonna swap out some colors. I'm gonna speed up this part, because it could take a long time since I'm using all these yarn scraps, but I wanted you to see at least how I'm doing it. So see how I'm just mixing yarn on top of one another. And I'm gonna go, you know, because I'm using a whole bunch of mixes of yarn. This one is lace weight. I'm gonna go at least about 200 revolution in a mix, since I'm using a lot of thinner yarn. All right, I'm gonna speed up this part. I'll see you when I'm done. Okay, so I'm pretty much done. So this is what you have. And as always, what we're gonna do is we're gonna tie this like a regular pom-poms that we would do. So we would take the tight tie, thread it under your yarn bundle. Make sure your ends are even, and we're gonna make one tie. Not a knot, just one tie. Make sure it lands in the middle. So real quickly for a tip, if you had put on a lot of yarn and this part is filled in and it's hard for you to thread the yarn underneath, just use a needle to guide it, and that will be fine. Okay, so you make that one tie. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to pull it tight. It's not gonna be tight since it's just, you know, you just made one tie. You're gonna take this end, thread it back under, and then you're gonna flip. So now this is what it looks like. And now we're gonna do a surgeon's knot. So a surgeon's knot is a double overhand, 1, 2. Okay, and then we're gonna pull. Okay, and it doesn't have to be tight, just snug. And then you're gonna slide this off the tool. And then now we're gonna work to tighten that knot, working closely to the middle there. Okay, and then we're gonna close it out. Okay, all you need to do is just that one. And now we're gonna attach the brooch pins now. So what I like to do actually is I just like to open that up, move the pin to the other side, make sure my ends are, I might need to wet it a little bit. Okay, and then you're gonna thread this through one. Okay, so you have 2 holes here. You're gonna do this with the other one. So that's one thing to remember too, is that when you buy a brooch pin, usually they always usually come with 2 holes. I think you just want to make sure. So that's one thing to look out for. Okay, all right, pull that through. So now you have something like this. And now we're going to tie this very tight onto the pin. Okay. You might need to borrow somebody's finger, or you could just do like me, go very fast, and then I'm going to make another tie. Okay, so what I actually like to do now is I don't want to cut these ends off because they could fray and then, you know, kind of come loose. What I'll do actually is I'll thread one at the tail, and I will take that tail to the other side like this, okay? It just helps really secure the pin as well, the brooch pin. It's really handy. Repeat for the other end. Okay, and if you can, you know, try to have it close to the middle yarn there. Okay, there we go. Now we're gonna cut this tail. Okay, now let's close this. If you have a pom-pom trim guy, I would definitely take it out. If you don't, you're just freestyle. You can freestyle it like me, but the pom-pom trim guy is really, really handy. Bring in your dish, and then we're just gonna cut. It's my favorite part. Look at how pretty that is. Woohoo! So I'm going to do a loose trim on this because, you know, I think these pins look so good when they are loose. So, you know what, why don't I get my pom-pom trim guy? Okay, I'm back. I realize this is much better with the pom-pom trim guy. Okay, so the brooch pin is right here. So what I'm going to do is put my pom-pom trim guy over, and I'll trim like this. These brooch pins don't take a ton of time to trim, and again, fluff it up. Okay, any pieces that are out of place, just trim, or if it doesn't look round, just snip off. What I also find really useful is I actually like to trim the yarn close to the pin here so that it makes it easier for me to put the pin on and take it off. So I trim it like that, do the other side. See, so now it's a little bit easier to see, and it's really handy. Okay, so there you have it. This is really cute. So for those who's staying on for making like a boutonniere with two pom-poms, stick around, and I'm gonna get that started now. Okay, so let's put this here in our collection. Okay, so to make this, what you'll need is you'll need a dense trim pom-pom. I'll link in the bottom of the description here to how to make a dense trim pom-pom, and then we're gonna make kind of like a petal one. And that actually doesn't require a lot of yarn. I'm just gonna use a little bit of what I have left over here. I'm gonna take my tool, my Loome tool, and then I'm just gonna do the same. Okay, so I'm gonna go about 40 revolutions, and this is a worsted weight yarn. I find that's all you need. Okay, and same thing, we're gonna cut the tight tie here. And you just want to do fingertip to your mid bicep. Okay. And then you're going to thread this under. So we're basically going to repeat attaching the brooch pin to this. So we're going to tie the pom-pom first. Okay, make sure it's center. Flip it over. And then do a search and snot, which is 2 overhand, 1, 2, pull this off. So what you have is something like this. You know, it's not going to be a dense or even a fluffy pom-pom. It's just going to act as a little bit of just kind of petals almost is what I call them. Okay, so this is what you have, and again we're going to repeat. Open the brooch pin insert your ends. Okay, we'll repeat for the other side. You could wet your end of your floss as well, since it's 6-ply. Sometimes it gets a little bit tricky. Okay. And then again, we're going to tie the pin to the pom-pom, make it really tight. Okay. And now we are going to thread the tail to the other side to secure it. Okay. Thread. Pushes forward. Okay, we'll do this for the other tail as well. Okay. Okay. So you don't have to cut the pom-pom yet. Actually, let me, oops. You don't have to cut the pom-pom yet. Let's attach this pom-pom first. Okay, so to attach the plump pom-pom to this other pom-pom is you just re-thread this. Okay, and you're gonna gently poke on this pom-pom. And when you hit that tight middle tie, you might not be able to see it here because this is so dense, okay? You're gonna try to see, working with your needle, see which way the tight tie is going. So just running your needle like this, I could tell that that tight tie is going in this direction. And all I wanna do is take the needle and go under that tight tie. Okay. I'm gonna do the same for this other end. Oops. Since this is, the tail is going this way, I'm gonna do it going in the other opposite direction. So what you'll have is something like this. See how the tail are intersecting each other? And all you do is pull. Okay, and work your thread so that it's at the bottom here. And now what you're gonna do is you're gonna take both ends and you're gonna tie them together. You're gonna make a double tie so that it becomes a knot. Try to work it so it goes under the pom-pom like this. Okay, let's secure it with another tie. Okay, and now to even further secure the pom-pom, what I like to do is I like to actually take these ends and just send it through anywhere of the pom-pom. Okay. This really, it's just, you know, it's added security and it makes the piece that you made really secure. Pull. Okay, now we're gonna do some cutting. We're first gonna cut these off so you don't see them. And now we're gonna cut the bottom part. So now it's a little bit like a little petal almost. And if you want to trim it so that it looks really neat, you can. I actually made some other ones in different color, so I wanted you to see what they look like. So the pom-pom on this one is a little bit smaller, and I made this yarn, you know, I put actually even more yarn so it's really fluffy. So it's really up to you what your style is, and it just makes a really, really cute, it looks like a boutonniere, a flower brooch, so it's really cute. All right, you could use any of your yarn scrap, any of your color. You can see how simple that is, and it makes such a cute little treat. All right, everyone, enjoy.